Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Hill, your legacy builder at Winning Proof, and I am here with another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted. Today, I am really excited to have Stephanie Ross. She is the owner and founder of Crown Financial. I just did a Crown Financial. Crown Wellness. And so I'm going to read Stephanie's bio and then we're just going to jump right in. And you'll have to excuse me because I haven't done a Winning Proof Unscripted for a while. So just hang in there with us. Stephanie became interested in lifestyle medicine when she studied national data as a public health student. She saw the prevalence of so many preventable conditions. The data in favor of lifestyle medicine were so compelling that she knew she had to try it for herself and share the great news with others. Her health is better now, and she feels honored to help others in their health journeys too. Stephanie lives in Raleigh, North Carolina with her husband and 3 daughters. She speaks Spanish and enjoys reading, spending time with family and friends, playing the piano, and traveling. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hey, Michelle, doing well. How are you?
Great, absolutely great. I'm glad to have you today, and I hope to glean a whole lot of information about what you do and who you serve. So let's dive in. First, just tell the people a little bit about Crown Wellness and what you do and how you serve.
Sure. So with Crown Wellness Coaching, I specialize in something called lifestyle medicine. So it's like a healthy lifestyle, but it's a little bit more specific. So there are 6 pillars of health with it. So we have whole food, plant predominant nutrition, also exercise, sleep, stress management, avoiding risky substances, and also positive social connection. So what I do basically uses those as a basis. So there are a couple of different categories of what I do. One is one-on-one health coaching with people, kind of helping them through some of those obstacles that may come up, and just, helping, they have health goals, helping them to identify those health goals, but also just taking them through the whole stage of health behavior change and providing support and accountability there. And then the other category, the other avenue that I do is small group classes. So I have one, it's called CHIP, which stands for the Complete Health Improvement Program. So this is like a 10-week course basically, and it just involves some online learning. Also, we meet as a small group a couple of times a week, and it provides a lot of education about lifestyle medicine, and it helps people. There's a lot of data with it. It helps people to overcome a lot of common chronic lifestyle related conditions like hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, that kind of thing. So it's a really good support there. The other is full plate living. That is an 8-week course that focuses really just on nutrition. So the main point of it really is helping people to get more fiber in their diet, because most Americans don't meet even the recommended amount of fiber. So it's just about making sustainable lifestyle changes there, helping to get more fiber, and then seeing the health benefits that result from that.
Okay, so a lot of times it's like you think of wellness and diets as, okay, I'm overweight, I need to lose weight. But are there other populations that could benefit, that will benefit from wellness? You just don't, it's not just an overweight deal. Mm-hmm. It's health issues. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, 100%. Weight loss is certainly a common one, but whereas there's so much out there with weight loss about, quick fixes and gimmicks and all that, that just really don't work, and they're really not healthy anyway. I mean, lifestyle medicine is going to help you to achieve the weight loss, but do it in a healthy and sustainable way. But even beyond that, like I say, lots of lifestyle related conditions. So we have, again, hypertension, folks dealing with maybe prediabetes, high cholesterol. Certainly there are things even with mood just to help. I know when people went through COVID, that took a toll on a lot of people. So kind of helping them get back into the swing of things with that. goodness, there's a lot. I mean, I've helped people with health coaching who are even, it's like they would be kind of stressed out because they felt like their house was kind of cluttered up with stuff, and they're like, this is actually stressing me out as the source of that. So help me to get my house organized. So I kind of coach them through that to lift that stress. So it can really take on a lot of different forms. It's anything. It feels wide open, really. I mean, if you're looking to develop a mindfulness practice, it's anything where you feel like your health and well-being is being inhibited in some way, and you just need some extra support to get you through that.
Okay. Now you mentioned pre-diabetes. Can you reverse that? If somebody goes to the doctor and they say, okay, your numbers are not way up, you're not a diabetic, you're kind of entering that realm. Can they reverse that with wellness, with a proper diet, with a full plate diet?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that CHIP actually would be probably the best choice for something like that. But yeah, we do have data. I mean, when you just make those lifestyle changes, you really can see those numbers, the blood glucose come down. It's something that should always be done in conjunction with a doctor so they could help to monitor that. I'm not a physician, but just looking at the lifestyle data, what we know, yeah, absolutely, it's very effective.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because a lot of people instantly go on medicine. Like Western medicine is designed to push pills, basically. And so a lot of people just say, oh, my doctor said it, they must be right. Where lifestyle changes, dietary changes can really avoid that and turn it all around.
Yeah, I mean, the lion's share of healthcare spending, it's due to conditions rooted in lifestyle. We know that. So just being able to address some of these behaviors, which are basic and simple, but so profound. I mean, that really is the foundation of traditional medicine. And it's something that we should not overlook by any means, and that I think deserves more of our attention.
Yeah, for sure. So now I know the full plate diet is based on a New York Times best-selling book. So, and maybe a lot of people don't know because they've heard of the ice cream diet and the cabbage soup diet and all of the fad diets, but this is not a fad diet. This is, as your expertise is in, lifestyle, wellness, nutritional plan, so explain what the full plate diet is. And is it really, I want to get this right, I wrote this down, is it really a diet in the traditional sense of the word diet?
No, not at all. And I'm glad you brought that up. I don't really like the term diet just because of all of the connotations with that, right? And people think, oh no, I'm going to be miserable. No, this really is not that. It's more, it's more of a sustainable eating pattern. It is not something that's just intended to be, okay, I said it was 8 weeks, but it's not like, okay, you do this only for 8 weeks and it helps you, shed all these pounds quickly and then you can go back to where you're done. That's not how it's intended. It's more, these 8 weeks that provide a lot of education, instruction, support, and helping you make simple changes to what you're already eating, to include more whole plant foods, to get more fiber, because fiber isn't in animal foods, it's only in plant foods. So you're eating more of that, getting more fiber, and then it helps you just carry that with you so that even after the 8 weeks are over, you can continue to implement those changes, and you'll see that it'll help your health. You'll see weight loss just kind of gradually and in a healthy way come off with implementing that change.
Yes. And speaking of fiber, what are some of the major vegetables that contain a whole bunch of fiber that people can easily incorporate into their diet and not have to spend? Because a lot of people think diet, oh, I'm going to have to spend a whole bunch of extra money and buy all this organic stuff and all this expensive stuff. But what are some basic vegetables people can, just for a small change, incorporate into their plan?
Yeah, I mean, tons of things, just, at your local grocery store. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, So it's not only fruits and vegetables, but it's certainly a huge part of it. But I mean, with grains, we'd want to look at more whole grains. So, you're talking about like brown rice instead of white rice, or, like whole grain or sprouted bread instead of white bread. Oats, quinoa, all those are good choices. With fruits, basically any fruit, take your pick. It's just we'd want to be looking at whole fruits. Same thing with vegetables, because the more processing they undergo, it's like if you think about it, like a whole fresh apple is going to have more fiber than like applesauce, where it's been peeled. A lot of the fibers in the peel, a lot of that's been stripped away. So any fruits and veggies you could eat that are as close to being in their whole form as possible, like food is grown, that's going to be beneficial. And there are lots of ways to prepare them. I think a lot of folks are like, oh, veggies, I don't like vegetables. But if you learn other ways to prepare them, they're actually really good. Like, I love roasted vegetables. You can season them so many ways, and it's easier. Yeah, I actually learned to diversify my own diet and add a lot more vegetables to what I was eating when I started roasting vegetables. Because, take even, I don't know, what's one before, I mean, like Brussels sprouts would be an example. I wasn't really, I didn't want to include them in other recipes I'd had before. It's like, well, how do I eat these? But when I started roasting them, right, and I was able to flavor them and everything, like, I really like them. So yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, fiber, certainly, legumes, beans, that's a big one. Anything like that. All of it has lots of fiber.
Okay. What would you say to somebody who said, okay, well, I don't like any of that stuff. I'm just going to sprinkle some, flaxseed. That's
Mhm.
fiber. I'm just going to sprinkle that over my white rice. I'm just going to do
Okay.
this. And they say that kind of stuff. How do you respond?
I mean, you do have to meet people where they are. It's like someone's not going to just, upend everything and change it all overnight. So you can, if you've never eaten flaxseed before and that is something that you're willing to try, it's like, okay, well, yeah, incorporate that where you can. Maybe you could start to do that, and just think about other simple changes that you are willing to make. It's like, you might not be willing to make changes in one regard, but maybe you'd be willing to do something else. So even, and we've got 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine here. So even if you're just like, no, diet is just not for me at this time, well, are there other things that we can do? Can we make some changes in your exercise habits? Maybe if you sleep better, all of that overlaps. So, you're inclined to maybe eat less junk food, rely on less junky stuff if you're better rested. So you just would basically look at what you are willing to do and then kind of go from there.
Okay. Is there a time of night? Some people, I'm not, but some people are night snackers. They just love their evening snack.
Yeah.
Is there a way for people who like to do their evening snack, chips and unhealthy, stuff, Cheetos or whatever it is? Is there a way to avoid that? Is there a way to change that up so they're still satisfied in their evening snack, or are they getting their full meal at 5 or 6 o'clock and then not eating anymore? How does that work?
I mean, what I've heard is that you want to stop eating if you can by about 7 p.m. Like, that's ideal, not to do stuff after that. If you're not there yet, you are eating later. For me, and a dietitian would be the one to like prescribe specific meal plans and everything. But in general, I would just say whenever you are eating, still, aim for those whole plant foods, because you're still going to just get more nutrients that way, rather than a lot of the heavily processed foods and the chips and the cookies and all that stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can you briefly explain the full plate diet? Just in a nutshell, what is it?
Okay. So this, like I say, it's 8 weeks. We would meet once a week, but I typically do it virtually. So we're meeting online as a group, and you have like some reading and written assignments in between those times. And, all the learning, it really is about, it's a lot of education about fiber, what that looks like. A lot of us think, well, it's only in fiber supplements or something, and it's only good for digestive issues, but that's actually not the case. Fiber is present in so many foods, and its benefits go, way beyond what we traditionally would think of, right, when we think of fiber. So lots of education about that. And then just, basically a lot of support through through some of the reading, helping you make small changes from week to week. And it's all just in a friendly and supportive environment. It gives you resources to take with you, even like when you're dining out or when you're going shopping, what are some of the foods that have more fiber content? What can I aim for? It tells you how to take some of the things that you typically would like, maybe a meal with pizza or spaghetti or tacos, salad, these kinds of things, and just how to make simple tweaks so that you can, change up your plate, sort of power it up, they say, to include more of these healthy foods.
Okay. And I know I asked you that question twice. I understand that.
Oh, it's okay.
But
No,
the
no
second
worries.
time, I knew it was going to be more detailed. And so, do you urge people to go and get the book? Can they do it on their own? Or is it really helpful to get that one-on-one or group coaching along with it? Because oftentimes, of course, as we know, we buy a book, we have good intentions, and then it sits on our shelf and we intend to read it, but we don't. So what's your approach to that?
I think definitely, if you could do it on your own, I do think there's a very definite advantage in having a small group, because it does give you that accountability. It kind of holds you to it. It makes sure that we complete it, within the 8-week period. So it's not being dragged out for a long period of time and you kind of forget what you read initially. And, it keeps it more fresh in your mind. And I think just when you have group support, you can hear from others about their stories, what they did, what challenges they came across, how they overcame those challenges. It's just, I guess it gets some ideas flowing, you're able to talk about it and develop good relationships. And then of course, any help from me, I'm always there to help support people in that way. And then if they wanted to, add any like one-on-one coaching with that as well, that could certainly be an extra benefit besides, because then you're like, okay, like I'm game, that I want to add more fiber to my diet, but like my kids aren't on board, or I have trouble making meals or whatever. Then we can look at your specific circumstances and help you develop a plan tailored to you that would address those things.
Yeah, that makes total sense. One-on-one is always to me, the ideal, because you get that focused attention on what your challenges are. And that kind of leads me to, what is the major obstacle that you hear people say that, or they're dealing with, like, oh, I quit because of ...
Mm-hmm. With nutrition specifically, you mean? With nutrition, with whole plant food, I think they feel like there's not enough variety. For one thing, they're like, okay, am I just eating salads all the time? Is this just like rice cakes and celery? No, not at all. So I think once they are aware of more recipes out there and just all of the many, many options there are in many ways to prepare foods, then, it's more palatable, no pun intended. And you can, I think you do grow to be more accepting of it. Also, they think like, okay, I don't like the taste of it. But really, when again, partly that's because of the way people prepare foods. There's a big difference between maybe something raw and then the way it tastes when it's seasoned and roasted, right? And then as you start to kind of drift away from some of the heavily processed foods, which are flavored kind of to actually get the brain addicted to some of this stuff, there's a lot of science behind that, is you kind of distance yourself from that and then embrace more whole plant foods, then your body actually learns to crave some of these foods even more. So just because it might seem like, oh, this was awful, I could never keep that up, you might feel that way initially, but it doesn't mean you would always feel that way.
Yes, and I found that when in 1998, when I did the EAS physique transformation contest, I found that my taste buds did change because I had an appetite for fettuccine. We're talking full butter, full, everything. And I was homeschooling my kids at the time, and that's what we would eat for lunch. And it was just like, packing on in the middle. And so when I did that contest, and I started eating differently and putting salsa on a baked potato instead of butter and sour cream and bacon bits and all that. Really, I started to crave that. I want it like that, not like this. So I think there is, and spices can make anything taste better if you spice it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, your baked potato example, that's a good example of like a small sustainable change that you could make. It's not like, okay, you can't have baked potatoes anymore. Sorry. You still can, but let's maybe swap some of these out with this. And yeah, it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to finish up by quoting a fun fact that you have on your website.
Yes.
And it says, my favorite TV show is the original MacGyver series. I once traveled to Vancouver, British Columbia to meet Richard Dean Anderson in person. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was pretty much on my bucket list. It was getting to meet him in person. So it was so exciting. I was, I found online, you could get tickets to this event where you could meet him in person and not just where you're in a crowd and he's speaking on the stage. I mean, there is that, but you would actually then, be able to stand in line and you would get to go up and he would give you, a personal autograph and you get your picture taken alongside him. And I've still got that one photo, just the two of us, I'm like glowing. It's like, oh my goodness, it's surreal. That was really fun. I love the show. I don't know, like MacGyver, it aired from 85 to 92. And I mean, I was born in 82. So I was still just, like a toddler when it first aired. So it's not like I was really watching it so much as it first aired, but it was more when it was in syndication. But I really love the whole thing. So for me to get to meet him in person was something else.
That is. And did he, when you got his autograph, did he build you a rocket ship out of tissue paper and bobby pins?
That would have been really cool. Although my husband and I did get a bonus. We were, so after the event was over, the main event, one of the nights. So, it all took place in a hotel and we were staying at that same hotel. Well, my husband and I were, we went ahead and left and got into a hotel, got into the elevator. And who steps in behind us? But Richard Dean Anderson there. So it was like just us and, oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I'm like, I got to ride an elevator with MacGyver.
I know.
I love it.
He would have been the one you wanted if the elevator broke.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh, I love that because I love the classic shows.
Yeah.
But I always like, okay, I need a MacGyver right now because this is broken. So I really like that fun fact. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to find out more, if they want to sign up for group coaching or one-on-one coaching, find out more about who you are and what you do? How can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So there are several options. You could go to my website, which is crownwellnesscoaching.com. There's a link there, contact. So you could just send me a message directly that way. Or you could just email me directly. That's Stephanie@crownwellnesscoaching.com. Also, I have a Facebook page, which I think you'll link to there. So, I'm posting like healthy lifestyle tips and info and all that kind of thing there. I have a LinkedIn page as well. So yeah, any of those ways.
Well, wonderful. And I'll put all of those in the notes when before I blast this out to everybody. So I will include those. And any last thoughts you want to share for people?
I would just say, lifestyle medicine is just really, really powerful, and I think it can really help to change the trajectory of health, both at an individual level, at a public health level. So, I'm just really excited to be able to help people with that.
Yeah, you do have a heart for helping and for improving people's lives, because once you're healthy, when you have overall wellness, it affects everything. You feel stronger, you're mentally stronger. It just affects every area.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for being my guest today. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Well, everybody, I hope you got gleaned a lot of information from this. Please go to Stephanie's website to find out more and to sign up for coaching if you want to. That would be really beneficial. And thank you again for watching another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted.